I am Ravi Visvesvaraya Sharada Prasad. A huge controversy has broken out over the renowned Bharatanatyam dancer Zakir Hussain being physically thrown out of the ancient Sri Ranganatha Swami temple at Sri Rangam on the grounds that he was a Muslim. It was not the temple authorities who threw out Zakir Hussain, but a self appointed activist named Rangarajan Narasimhan, who does not hold any official position in the temple management. Zakir Hussain has performed Bharatanatyam numerous times at the Sri Ranganatha Swami temple, and its management said he was always welcome there. The legendary Nadaswaram player Sheikh Chinnamaula often performed there at this temple. And the renowned classical musician and social activist T.M. Krishna, he tweeted um, deeply disturbed about the ill treatment of dancer Zakir Hussain when he went to have darshanam of Ranganatha at Sri Rangam. Action needs to be taken against the person. Let's not forget, Sri Rangam is an example of syncretic bhakti with a special place given to Tuluka Nachiyar. In this video, I will describe why the granddaughter of Alauddin Khilji, Bibi Nanchari Amma, is worshipped at the Sri Ranganatha Swami temple as the consort of Lord Venkateshwara Balaji. And there is also a family connection of mine from my mother's family. Bibi Nanchari Amma is called Tuluka Nachiyar in Tamil, and Bibi Nanchari Amma's Samadhi is at the Chella Pillaraya temple in Melkote in Karnataka, where she is worshipped along with Lord Venkateshwara Balaji. Further, there is an idol of Bibi Nanchari Amma in Tirumalai and a dargah devoted to her in Kadappa. Devotees are first supposed to pray at this dargah in Kadappa before they go to Tirupati. Alauddin Khilji was the ruler of Delhi from 1296 AD to 1316 AD, and Alauddin Khilji had a competent general called Malik Kafur. Malik Kafur was a Brahmin who had been converted to Islam and castrated also, and he had all the fanaticism of a new convert. And Malik Kafur led several invasions of South India between 1309 AD and 1315 AD. Malik Kafur defeated the Kakatiyas, that's in present day Warangal in Andhra Pradesh. He defeated the Hoysalas of present day Karnataka, and he also defeated the uh, Pandyas of present day Tamil Nadu. And since temples were the repository of wealth, his army looted several temples and brought back the wealth to the Khilji Sultan in Delhi. And to digress a little, my father's community of Mulkunada Smartha Brahmins traces its origins to the invasions of Malik Kafur with all the fanaticism of a new convert to Islam. Malik Kafur would order Brahmins to convert to Islam or be expelled or be killed. And the Telugu speaking Mulkunadu Brahmins, followers of Adi Shankaracharya, migrated to what are present day Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. And the community name is for those who migrated from Mulk. Mulk is the Arabic word for country, to Nadu. Nadu is the Dravidian or Tamil word for country. And the origins of the Mulukunadu Brahmins prior to the invasion of Malik Kafur are not known, nor is it known as to where exactly they originated from, although they continue to speak a medieval version of Telugu to this day. And the other Brahmin diaspora communities driven out by Malik Kafur are the Velanadus, the Aruvelu. Aruvelu means the 6,000. The Muruvelu means the 3,000. The Kotas and the Thailangs. And the Thailangs actually migrated northwards towards Mathura and then to Rajasthan. Okay, so that was a digression. But another interesting aside is that Malik Kafur invaded the Tamil temple towns of Madurai and Kanchipuram, and some of his soldiers established a Muslim sultanate in Madurai, and they sent huge amounts of riches to the Delhi Sultan. And one of these viceroys was Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He was the viceroy of Madurai for several years before he ascended to the throne in Delhi. But in Madurai, the various viceroys of the fanatical Muslim sultanate in Madurai, they kept deposing each other and killing each other. And interestingly, again, to digress a lot from my original topic of Bibi Nanchari Amma, the Arab traveler Ibn Battuta, he married the daughter of one of the viceroys of Madurai called Jalaluddin Hasan Khan. And then the Madurai Sultanate lasted only a few decades because the various Muslim generals and viceroys kept deposing each other and killing each other. And then the Madurai Sultanate was conquered by the newly formed Vijayanagaram kingdom in the 1360s. And again, to digress a little, my mother's family, the Tatacharya family, they were Sri Vaishnava Brahmins in Kanchipuram, Vishnu worshippers, and they were invited by the victorious Vijayanagaram general Kumara Kampana. Kumara Kampana was the second son of Emperor Bukkaraya. So he invited my mother's family, the Tatacharyas, to join the new Vijayanagaram court in Hampi. So enough of this digression. Let me just return back to Bibi Nanchari Amma. The soldiers of Malik Kafur's army had looted numerous temples, and they deposited the riches in the treasury of Alauddin Khilji in Delhi. And these included numerous idols of Lord Venkateshwara Balaji from various temples. And after Alauddin Khilji's death in 1316 AD, he was succeeded by several of his sons, but each of these sons kept killing each other, and then there were regents who kept killing each other, and finally another son of Alauddin Khilji called Kutubuddin Mubarak Shah Khilji. He took over after having killed some of his brothers and other relatives. And so Bibi Nanchari Amma was one of the daughters of Kutubuddin Mubarak Shah Khilji, and who was one of the sons of Alauddin Khilji. And numerous accounts and history texts about Bibi Nanchari Amma. They say that she was the daughter of Malik Kafur, and some say she was the daughter of Alauddin Khilji. But these are all wrong. Malik Kafur was castrated very early in his career, and there are no records of his having any children at all. And Because we have the family connection, so Bibi Nanchari Amma was in fact the daughter of Kutubuddin Mubarak Shah Khilji, who was one of the sons of Alauddin Khilji. And then, as a young girl, Bibi Nanchari Amma was given one of the idols of Lord Venkateshwara Balaji to play with as toys, and she quickly fell in love with Lord Venkateshwara Balaji, and she became obsessed with the idea of marrying him, and this became an all-pervading obsession. And Kutubuddin Mubarak Shah Khilji, he had a dream in which Lord Venkateshwara Balaji appeared to him and told him how pleased he was by the devotion of Bibi Nanchari Amma, and he expressed his desire to marry her. And the Sultan very readily agreed and granted his permission to this marriage of his daughter. And then at the same time, the head of the Sri Vaishnava Matha in Melkote. Melkote is in present day Karnataka and one of the key mathas of the Iyengar communities. So Sri Ramanuja Acharya, who's from my mother's family, so Sri Ramanuja Acharya, he also had a dream which commanded him to go to Delhi to retrieve the idols of Lord Venkateshwara Balaji, which had been looted by the armies of Malik Kafur. And the dream also told him to bring back Bibi Nanchari Amma and marry her to Lord Venkateshwara Balaji. This Ramanujacharya was not the founder of the Sri Vaishnava faith, Ramanuja Acharya. The founder was a couple of centuries earlier. Again, there's our family connection, but this was a descendant of the original Sri Ramanujacharya, who had the same name because children are named after their grandfather. So this was a descendant of the same name from my mother's family, and many of the accounts of the legend of Bibi Nanchari, I must say it was the original Sri Ramanujacharya who went to Delhi to meet the Sultan. But these are all wrong because there's a gap of 2 centuries, and this was a descendant with the same name who was the head of the Melkote Matha. So Sri Ramanujacharya, he traveled to Delhi to meet the Sultan. But when he came to Delhi, he found that the Sultan was at Lahore on a military campaign to oust and repel the invading Mongols. So Sri Ramanujacharya went to Lahore, and there the Sultan Kutubuddin Mubarak Shah Khilji received Sri Ramanujacharya with great courtesy and honor, and he readily agreed to the marriage of his daughter with Lord Venkateshwara Balaji to be performed at Melkote. And the Sultan and Sri Ramanujacharya, they traveled back together from Lahore to Delhi, and the Sultan returned to Sri Ramanujacharya the numerous idols which had been looted from the various temples in South India. Then, on the way from Delhi to Melkote, Bibi Nanchariamma, she fell very seriously ill. They just managed to reach Melkote, and the marriage was performed at Melkote by Sri Ramadujacharya. And soon after that, Nanchariamma passed away, and her samadhi is at the Chellapilla Raya temple in Melkote, the Chellapilla Raya temple in Melkote, and she's worshipped there together with Lord Venkateshwara Balaji. Then there is also this temple in Sri Rangam, which is the center of this present controversy, the Sri Rangam temple in Tiruchirappalli. And here, Lord Venkateshwara Balaji, he is dressed in the colored lungis, which are typical of the Muslim style of wearing the lungis. And the prasadam here in the temple at Tiruchirappalli, the Sri Rangam temple, is of wheat and ghee parathas, again cooked in the style of the Delhi Muslims style of parathas. Then there are some accounts, which state that the marriage was actually performed at Sri Rangam rather than at Melkote. But I would go with the account that the marriage was performed at Melkote, because this is what my mother told me, and my mother comes from that family of Sri Ramadojacharya and of Melkote. So I would go with the predominant view that the marriage was performed at Melkote rather than at Sri Rangam, but she is worshipped at Sri Rangam. And in fact, the legend at Sri Rangam is that the other consorts of Lord Venkateshwara Balaji, Sri Devi, uh, were very, very jealous of Bibi Nanchari Amma. There is also as the idol of Bibi Nanchari Amma in Tirumalai, and there is a dargah devoted to her in Kadappa, and the devotees are first supposed to pray at this dargah in Kadappa before they go to Tirupati. And Kutubuddin Mubarak Shah Khilji, he was murdered in 1320 AD by one Khusro Khan, and Khusro Khan was a Gujarati Hindu who was taken slave and converted to Islam. And Khusro Khan was a general in Alauddin Khilji's army, and he had defeated the Kakatiyas in Warangal in 1318 AD. But within a few days, a short while of his murdering Kutubuddin Mubarak Shah Khilji, Khusro Khan was captured by the governor of Dipalpur, Ghazi Malik, and he was beheaded at Hauz Khas in Delhi in September 1320 AD. And after that, the Tughlaqs seized power in Delhi. They built Tughlaqabad, and Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq and Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq established the Tughlaq dynasty in Delhi. Um, yeah. So please subscribe to my YouTube channels and my IGTV channels, and please follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. My Twitter account is at RVP at RVP is my Twitter account. So on my YouTube channel, I will be uploading several more videos about my opinions on politics, the economy, business, and industry, and about technology. So please subscribe to my YouTube and IGTV channels. This is Ravi Visvesvaraya, Sharada Prasad saying goodbye. Have a great day.